Please, I just need to disappear for a while." The words came out broken, barely audible over the desert wind. Ethan looked up from the engine he was rebuilding to see a young woman standing in the doorway of his garage, her wedding dress torn and stained with road dust. Blood trickled from a cut on her arm. Behind her, the sun was setting over the empty highway, painting everything in shades of amber and rust. He set down his wrench slowly. "You hurt?" She shook her head, though her whole body was trembling. I can't go back. Not yet. Maybe not ever." Ethan had spent 15 years in this forgotten corner of Arizona, fixing broken-down cars for travelers who'd taken the wrong exit. He'd learned not to ask too many questions, but something about the desperation in her eyes made him nod toward the small office in the back. "There's a couch, clean enough. You can rest there tonight." Her name was Claire, she told him later that evening, as she sat wrapped in his flannel jacket, her ruined veil discarded on the floor. She didn't offer more, and he didn't press. He made her instant coffee in a chipped mug and found an old first aid kit to clean the cut on her arm. "Thank you," she whispered, wincing as he applied antiseptic. "You don't even know me." "Don't need to," Ethan said quietly. "Everyone deserves a safe place to land." What he didn't know was that Claire Ashford was the daughter of one of America's wealthiest real estate moguls, that she'd fled from a cathedral filled with 1,000 guests, abandoning a marriage arranged to merge two financial empires. She'd stolen a catering van, crashed it 2 miles down the road, and walked until she found his garage. The first 3 days, she barely spoke. She slept on the couch, helped him sort bolts and screws, swept the concrete floor. Ethan gave her space, working on the endless stream of vehicles that limped into his shop. His own truck had died years ago. He lived in the 2 rooms behind the garage, cooking on a hot plate and reading books he bought at the thrift store in town. On the 4th morning, as Ethan poured coffee, Claire finally broke her silence. "Why do you stay here, in the middle of nowhere?" He looked out at the empty desert, at the highway that stretched endlessly in both directions. "I used to live somewhere else. Had a family, a good job. I was so focused on making something of myself that I forgot to notice when it all fell apart. My wife left, took our daughter. Said I was there but never really present." He paused, the old pain flickering across his face. "Out here, every person who stops, they need something real, something I can actually fix." Claire absorbed this, her fingers wrapped around the warm mug. "I was about to marry someone I didn't love, someone my father chose because it made business sense. Everyone kept telling me how lucky I was, how perfect it all looked." Her voice cracked. "But I felt like I was disappearing." "You're not disappearing now," Ethan said simply. That afternoon, an expensive black sedan pulled up to the garage. 2 men in suits emerged, flashing a photo of Claire on their phones. Ethan's heart seized, but he kept his expression neutral. "Haven't seen her. Just me here." After they left, he found Claire hiding in the supply closet, her face pale. "They'll find me eventually. My father, he doesn't accept failure." "Then we'll figure it out when they do. But you're safe here for now." The twist came 2 weeks later, delivered by a lawyer in a Mercedes who seemed distinctly out of place among the dust and tumbleweeds. But he wasn't looking for Claire. He was looking for Ethan. "Mr. Ethan Cole, I represent the estate of Margaret Cole. I'm sorry to inform you that your ex-wife passed away last month. She left instructions." He handed Ethan an envelope. "She wanted you to know that your daughter, Emma, has been asking about you. She's 16 now. Margaret regretted keeping you apart." Ethan's hands shook as he read the letter, tears blurring the words. All these years he'd believed his daughter had forgotten him, that he'd become irrelevant. But Margaret had written that Emma had kept every birthday card he'd sent, even though they'd been returned unopened. His ex-wife had been the one intercepting them, trying to protect her daughter from what she saw as Ethan's failure. Claire found him that evening sitting outside the garage, staring at the envelope. Without a word, she sat beside him. I lost my daughter because I thought success meant everything. I thought if I just worked harder, made more money, proved myself, but I never asked what she actually needed. And now you have a chance, Claire said softly. She's asking for you, Ethan. That means something. I have nothing to offer her. I'm a mechanic in the desert with a garage that barely pays the bills. Claire was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something that changed everything. What if I told you you saved someone who could help you? The second twist unfolded in Claire's confession. She wasn't just running from an arranged marriage. She was running from a life where her wealth had made every relationship transactional, where she never knew if people saw her or just her last name. In Ethan, she'd found the first person in years who'd helped her without wanting anything in return. I can make one phone call and have resources here in hours, she said carefully. I can help you rebuild your life, reconnect with Emma properly. But only if you want that, only if it's real. Ethan looked at her, understanding dawning. You're not just some runaway bride. No, I'm Claire Ashford. My father owns half the commercial real estate on the East Coast, and I've spent 2 weeks with someone who taught me what actual kindness looks like. Someone who gave shelter to a stranger because it was the right thing to do, even though he had almost nothing. The air between them felt heavy with possibility and fear. I don't want your money, Ethan said finally. That's not why I helped you. I know. That's exactly why I'm offering it. Not as payment, but as a friend helping a friend. She smiled, sad and genuine. You gave me a safe place when I had nowhere to go. Let me help you reach your daughter. Let me help you build something that matters.
3 months later, Ethan stood in a coffee shop in Portland, his heart hammering as a teenage girl with his eyes walked through the door. Emma was tall, uncertain, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Dad, she said, and the word shattered something inside him. Emma, I'm so sorry for all the years I missed, for not fighting harder to be in your life. She crossed the distance between them, and when she hugged him, Ethan felt 15 years of regret begin to crack and heal. Mom told me, before she died, she told me she was wrong to keep us apart. She said you never stopped trying. Emma pulled back, tears streaming down her face. Can we start over? I'd like that more than anything. Claire had kept her distance, respecting the moment, but she'd been the one to arrange everything. The lawyers who'd helped clear up custody misunderstandings, the modest fund that allowed Ethan to take time off and travel to see Emma regularly, the quiet support that never demanded recognition. Months passed. Ethan renovated his garage with Emma's help during summer break, teaching her about engines and life and second chances. Claire eventually returned home, facing her father's empire not as a runaway, but as a woman who'd found her own strength in the desert. She started a foundation supporting people leaving controlling situations, offering them resources and safe spaces. One evening, as the sun set over the highway and Emma worked on rebuilding a carburetor, Ethan's phone buzzed. A message from Claire. How's the garage? He smiled and typed back, full of possibility. How's freedom? Worth everything. Thank you for showing me what kindness looks like. That night, Teaching his daughter how to properly torque a bolt, Ethan thought about the young woman in a torn wedding dress who'd stumbled into his life. How helping her had somehow opened the door to finding his own daughter again. How genuine kindness, given without expectation, had created ripples he never could have imagined. "Dad?" Emma looked up at him, grease on her cheek. "Why are you smiling like that?" "Just thinking. Sometimes the best thing you can do is help someone disappear for a while, so they can figure out who they really are." She nodded, wise beyond her years. "And sometimes being lost is how you find your way home." "Yeah, exactly that." The desert wind carried the scent of motor oil and hope, and in the distance, another car's headlights appeared on the highway, heading toward shelter. The smallest act of kindness can change two lives at once, the one who receives it and the one who gives it. When we help others simply because it's right, we create connections that can heal us in ways we never expected. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.